Hi, everybody, and welcome to our session, 2 Years of Integrated AI Driving Real-World Research Innovation. I'm Quirk's editor, Joe Ridholm, and before we get started, let's quickly go over the ways you can participate in today's discussion. You can use the chat tab to interact with other attendees during the session, and you can use the Q&A tab to submit questions for the speakers during this session, and we'll answer as many questions as we have time for during the Q&A portion at the end. Our session today is presented by Quantilope. Jannik, take it away.
Thanks for the intro, Joe. Hi, everybody. Welcome also from our side, and thanks for joining this session. We hope you're as excited as we are about this upcoming session, in which we'll share how integrated AI can make your research process faster and simpler, and maybe even more creative and more fun. So in a hands-on live demo, we're going to show you how we at Quantilope make actionable use of Gen AI and share also some lessons we've learned from integrating AI into our platform over the past years. How to best work with AI, where it helps most, and what's required to use it successfully. So for those not familiar with Quantilope, Quantilope is an end-to-end full-stack consumer insights platform. We are very proud that last year we were again ranked the #1 research technology by Green Book for the second year in a row. And our platform offers the largest suite of automated advanced methods and innovating tracking technology, all embedded with end-to-end AI integration and assistance. So before we dive into today's topic, let me quickly introduce ourselves. I'm joined today by my colleague Bea, who leads our global solutions consulting team at Quantilope, and she's our very own expert on turning AI into insights practice in a researcher's daily work. And as for myself, I'm Jannik, leading our product development around advanced research methods, machine learning, and AI, including the continuous development of our AI agent Quinn, which we're going to demo today. So throughout my career, my passion has always been making seemingly complex analytics widely and easily available, regardless of experience levels. And that's exactly what we're pursuing with our research platform at Quantilope and with Quinn in particular. So speaking of Quinn, Quinn is our own developed AI agent for consumer insights and fully embedded into our research platform. So it's your partner along the research process. And we are proud and happy that last month, Quinn celebrated its second anniversary with us. And Bea is going to show you in a second how working with Quinn looks and feels. But before that, I'd like to briefly share a bit of background on how Quinn works and how it has developed over the past 2 years. So the goal we wanted to achieve with Quinn was always clear. How can we make advanced consumer research faster, simpler, and also more accessible, as I said, regardless of experience levels? And with that in mind, it was also obvious that we couldn't achieve this by sacrificing quality. We're all researchers in this room, and we know data quality and the quality of our insights is sacred. So one of the first important design decisions we made, and what still holds today, is that we built Quinn and the whole AI assistance on top of all the sound and validated methods and data analysis, not as a replacement for them. I think everyone in this virtual room who has ever run statistical analyses using language models like GPT or Gemini can probably relate to how little you can actually rely on the output. And it's not their fault, but these tools are natively built for math or complex stats. So what you need is kind of this solid foundation of validated methods, quality checked analysis, all that stuff. And then you bring in AI on top. And by doing this, you can actually get the best of both worlds, like combining robust analytics and data analysis with Gen AI's ability to communicate, to be creative, and to synthesize information. So this fundamental principle hasn't changed. And by following it, we were able to integrate Quinn fully into our end-to-end platform, using what we already have instead of reinventing the wheel, or even reinventing a wheel worse than before. So by this, Quinn has developed from, say, first a very focused task-oriented features, like, let's say, summarizing a chart, to next step then was a very helpful but still limited chat-based copilot performing, say, one task at a time. So still providing a lot of assistance and guidance to users, but limited to one task. And now recently, by Quinn, as said, Quinn celebrated its second anniversary. And with that, we actually also introduced now a new version of Quinn, which is more like a really complex agentic system, serving as a true research partner performing complex workflows autonomously. And this evolution mainly happened because clients told us all along the way what they loved, what they missed with Quinn. And this co-creation with our clients together has been incredibly helpful for us, and honestly also a lot of fun to build Quinn that way. So while I can't wait to see how our clients use our newest version of Quinn and where Quinn goes from here, let's dive in and see what Quinn can do today. Over to you, Bea.
Thank you, Jannik. And yes, as Jannik said, I am Bea. I lead our solutions consulting team here at Quantilope. And my job is really to translate business needs into effective research solutions. And so I have actually had the pleasure of having a front row seat to watch AI transform how we work over the past 6 years, especially here at Quantilope. And so we are super excited in a moment to show you how integrated AI actually looks like in practice. So this is not the hype. This is not theory. This is actually not going to be slides or anything like that. This is going to be a live demo. It is the real evolution that we have seen. And I really want to make it clear what this means for you and how you can spend your time. And so before I share my screen with the demo, I want to talk about the shift that we have seen. So 2 years ago, AI could help you do tasks faster. That's what Jannik was just saying, right? Today, it can actually help you work smarter. So when we first launched Quinn, it was like having a really smart intern, which is obviously incredibly helpful, right? It was helpful for the smaller things like summarizing things, translating, your survey if you needed it to be translated, suggesting some answer options. It's all very useful, but you still had to manage every single step of the way and do a lot of that heavy thinking yourself. Now, Quinn has actually evolved into a true AI research partner, an insights expert that can handle complex work, it can bring strategic thinking to the table, and it can actually execute multi-step tasks while you focus on the bigger picture. So you are still in control, but you are directing rather than actually doing. And so what this means for you is that you can actually spend more time on strategy, which is what all of us want to be doing, I assume, and less time on the actual execution. And so now I'm very excited to show you what this actually looks like in practice. Okay, so we are inside of the Quantilope platform right now, and we are looking at our survey editor. So this is actually a survey that we have already created. And I wanted to start here because this is where the research begins, right? In survey design. So Quinn is now fully integrated into our survey editor. And I want to show you how it can operate as a partner and not just as an assistant during the survey design process. So what you're looking at on my screen, if we look over here to the left, you can sort of see the outline for our survey. This is a first draft of a brand health tracker for the body wash category. Let's say that my teammate had built this out for me. Now, what we used to be able to do with Old Quinn could actually help you summarize what's in here, right? So what are the KPIs? What's the structure of the survey? New Quinn can, of course, do that too, but I want you to see the difference in how it's going to engage. So here's Quinn. I'm going to pop up Quinn. And for the sake of time, I actually have already asked it to review this survey and give me your assessment. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I want it to tell me what's working well, where does it see gaps for a comprehensive brand health study that uses mental availability and category entry points. So this is our framework that we are using for this tracker. And I'm also telling it that our focus brand is Dial. And you can actually see that Quinn is now going to respond with what's working well and some opportunities for us. So first of all, I want you to notice that I'm not just asking Quinn to describe what's there. I'm asking it for its expert opinion, and it's really delivering. It's telling me what's working well, it's also telling me a few gaps that I might have. So it's telling me, oh, hey, you measure brand CEP linkage, but not CEP. So CEPs are category entry points, not category entry point importance. Hey, maybe you don't have any unaided category entry point based salience. So it's giving you a lot of these other things that you might want to look out for, why it matters for me as a brand, and also a potential fix. What's really critical to note about this is that you are still in control, right? So I actually don't agree with this because we had done a pre-study, right? And so we know CEP importance. So I can just ignore this. So if you don't like a recommendation, you can always ignore it. But this is the shift from intern to insights expert. So Quinn isn't just reading back what I wrote, it's applying research expertise, and it's helping me to evaluate my work or my teammates' work or whatever the case might be. Now, let's go a little bit deeper, and you can see that it gave me a lot of feedback here, right? So I want to go deeper though, and my boss has actually also asked me to include a deep dive into purchase drivers. But actually, I'm not really sure where to start. I don't know what type of question or method I should use. And so now I am actually going to ask Quinn. So I'm asking, I need to understand purchase drivers for body wash. What's the best approach and why? Now, you'll see that Quinn generally is going to take a few seconds, so 15 seconds, 30 seconds to a few minutes. It really is going to depend on the complexity of the task. And this should feel pretty familiar to most of you. I assume all of you at this point are using ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or something like that, where it's really sort of telling you and outlining, okay, like, let me think about the next steps. Let me get all of the information. And so that's what Quinn is doing in the background. It's really using the knowledge that it has to give you the best recommendations. And so here we can see that Quinn is recommending, okay, you might want to do a key drivers analysis. It's giving you recommendations for how to set it up, why this is the best approach. It's also telling you what different methods you could include. And again, you are fully in control, right? And notice how it's actually also asking me clarifying questions. So it's telling me, well, do you want to do this for dial specifically or for the category overall? It's being very strategic. And this is intentional. Our new Quinn is going to engage with you like a real collaborator. It's checking in when something is ambiguous instead of guessing and guessing incorrectly. And actually, I don't want to do a KDA. I want to do a count-based max diff. So let's see what happens. I haven't programmed many max diffs before, so I'm going to ask Quinn to build out a complete count-based max diff question for the body wash purchase drivers. I actually am also asking it to generate 20 relevant attributes. I want it to set up the method properly, and I want it to actually add it to my survey. So again, notice that this is a pretty complex multi-step task. And in the old days of AI, you would probably get a list. You'd have to wait for, me to tell the AI, or Quinn in this case, what the next instruction is. But now Quinn is actually executing the entire workflow. So check this out. It has actually given me a max diff question, right? So this is the instructions. These are some attributes I can include. It's telling me where it's going to add it into my survey. And again, it's not just guessing if this is good for me or not. It's asking for my approval. So let me go ahead and say approved. And we will see how it actually is able to add it into our survey for us as well. So again, it's saving you a lot of time here. And I can go step away, grab a coffee. What my husband does is he goes and plays around with Smash Bros while his AI works. But you can do all of that while it's actually doing this complex task for you. And so what we can do now is we can review, we can refine if needed, but I don't have to babysit it every step of the way. And you can actually already see, maybe some of you noticed, it's added in my purchase driver max diff question here. It's still adding it in. So it's probably still generating all of those attributes that we asked it to generate. And then it will actually have it incorporated into our survey. So I can go ahead and start to take a look here. And it's telling us, there you go, it's added on a new page after question 7 with our 20 body wash purchase driver attributes. And here is our max diff that it just added. All right, so this is our first key takeaway, right? Quinn isn't here to do just the small tasks faster. It's really here to handle complex survey builds while you all get to focus on strategy. So you can hand it a brief, you can let it work, and you can come back to review. Now, let's imagine we feel really good with the survey that we have built here. Your data is back. Obviously, the timeline is tight. You needed your data yesterday, like always. I want to show you how Quinn operates as an insights expert and not just a number cruncher when it comes to the analysis. So I am actually going to go into our analyze section here, and we can start to look at some of our data. Now, something I hear clients ask about all of the time is open-ended data. Of course, we have so much quantitative data here, but I want to take a look at open ends because Quinn can help you a lot here as well. So again, I'm going to open up my Quinn chat, and I actually have asked Quinn to analyze the brand rejection reasons for Dove. This was an open-ended question that we had. I want it to tell me what are the key themes and what do they suggest about Dove's vulnerabilities that Dial could exploit. Again, let me make this a little bit bigger. And you can see that it's given me some key themes. So key themes for our question, which was our brand rejection question for Dove. So we see that there's some skin sensitivity reactions. It's a not clean feel. And it's pulling the verbatims, of course, for you. But as I continue to scroll down, you can also see all of these other things that it's telling you about and how Dial could exploit all of these vulnerabilities potentially. So again, Quinn isn't just throwing us these quotes, right? It's giving us strategic intelligence. Now, of course, we all know that great insights are totally worthless if they don't drive action. And so now what I want to do is I actually need to build out my deliverable, right? My timeline was yesterday. I need to show something to my stakeholders, and I want to let Quinn do all of the heavy lifting. So I am going to ask it to tell me what I should do, right? So given our study objectives and that our brand is Dial, recommend a report structure optimized for executive stakeholders who need to make Q3 budget decisions. So again, I want you to notice this prompt, right? I'm giving Quinn the business context. It's not just going to be organizing, all of your charts for you. It's really going to help you structure a narrative for a specific audience with specific needs. And so as this is working and as it's reviewing all of the reports, I want to sort of emphasize that this is really our second takeaway, right? Quinn can actually handle the entire reporting workflow, the structure, charts, insights. You can direct the narrative and Quinn is going to create it. And so again, as I scroll up, you can actually start to see what Quinn has put together for us. So it's suggesting an executive summary. It's telling you, okay, maybe you want to have a Q3 scorecard. You can include mental availability, and you can add all of these things. But of course, this is great, but I'm lazy. I'm a lazy researcher. I don't want to have to build all of this out myself. So you can also ask Quinn to create the report for you. I have actually preloaded the report because this one does take 2 to 3 minutes, but you would basically just ask, yes, please build this out as a full report, create all of the charts, write the executive summaries, include strategic recommendations tied to our findings. So we can ask it to work on this. While it works on this, I actually want to go to the report that it has created to show you what that can look like, right? So all of these things here are part of the report. It has our executive summary and our Q3 budget recommendations for Dial, right? Which was the brand that we wanted to focus on. And then of course, it's including all of the analyses that are going to give you the data to back up the recommendations that it has. It's even telling you what the Q3 implications are. And you still can direct and you have complete editing control over the narrative here and over all of these insights that it has given to you. So what used to be, maybe some people could do this in 2 hours. for me personally, back in the old days, this would take me days, right? To create a report like this, to build it out, to create the story, and then put it into a PowerPoint presentation. This would take days for some people. Quinn has just built it in a matter of 3 minutes for us. Well, I can go and take a break, make another coffee, do whatever I need to do in between. So this is really our third takeaway. This is that Quinn can build an entire report section autonomously for you. You can still set the direction, right? You can review its work, but you have a true research partner on hand. And so to wrap all of this up, 2 years ago, Quinn and AI was really helpful with tasks. It could summarize things, it could suggest options, it could do a lot of really useful things for us. But today, AI, and particularly Quinn, can handle complex multi-step workflows as you've seen here, as you see with this executive summary as well. So what it's been able to do is it can build an entire survey or a survey section with methodology, attributes, proper configuration, proper research knowledge, right? It can create a complete insights deliverable structure with charts, takeaways, and strategic recommendations. It can design a report. It can even create a dashboard. I haven't showed you that, but it can create a dashboard for you as well that's totally optimized for your particular audience. And so again, you're still in control. You're still setting that strategic direction, but you can review and refine it. You don't have to babysit it along the way. And so what used to take 20 plus hours or so across the research process can now take 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe even less. But apart from the time, the bigger shift that we've seen is how you work, right? You aren't just doing tasks faster, you're really operating at a higher level. You're able to focus on strategy, you're able to focus on the stakeholder needs that you have, and of course, most importantly, on the business impact that you need to make with this data while Quinn is handling all of the execution for you. And so again, what we want to say here is that this really isn't a co-pilot anymore. Quinn is a research partner, and we hope that we have shown you that today. And hopefully there are many questions to come because I have only scratched the surface. So I will pause here and I'll go back to the slide deck and open it up for questions.
Sounds good. We've got some questions coming in. Speaking of Copilot, there's a question here just about what some of the benefits are of using Quinn as a chat assistant, versus something like Copilot or ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, B has shown in a demo, and I also touched on this briefly in the intro. So, I mean, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, whatever is out there, these are great tools. And I mean, I use them also a lot for daily tasks. But as said, one big limitation is, of course, they are just not done for advanced data analysis, stat testing, and all the analyses alike. So as said, like with Quinn, we actually built it on top of methodologies and data analysis. Quinn doesn't do the actual number crunching itself, or actually the analysis, but it's using the pre-done analyses from validated methods and data analysis. And so this is why you can just rely on it. It's not that there's no hallucination or anything when it comes to data analysis, because Quinn or the LLM doesn't do the data analysis. And another big example or advantage is actually that I don't have to copy paste anything. I don't have to provide context. I don't have to provide my questionnaire and copy paste it into ChatGPT. I don't have to, let's hope for the best that ChatGPT or whatever tool knows what a TERF, a MaxDiff, or a brand health tracker is, but it's all embedded into the context without actually specifying or typing it myself. And that's a huge efficiency gain, and at the same time also makes it much more reliable.
Sure. 2 questions kind of along those lines are just asking about if Quinn can conduct the conjoint or the MaxDiff analysis.
Luckily not. So Quinn is trained to interpret these analyses once the data is there, and it provides you also with recommendations how to read the data, what actions to derive from the actual analysis, but it doesn't really run the MaxDiff or the conjoint. These are done by our modules that run in the backend that are based on all the validation and scientific evidences. But yeah, like I said, Quinn is more the researcher making, or the research partner making sense out of the data, but it doesn't really provide the analysis.
Sure.
And to be clear there, so you will get the max-diff analysis in the quantilope platform, but Quinn will help you interpret that, or Quinn will help you interpret the results of the max-diff or the conjoint or whatever it is that you're including. But yeah, you'll get an analysis in the platform.
Sure. Question here too, just about if they build a questionnaire with Quinn, will that be used to aid in building other people's questionnaires? So speak generally about, I guess, data privacy and security. I think that would be a good topic to touch on here too.
Quick answer. It's a very simple one. Of course not. So, of course, data privacy and security is like we have the highest standards, and that also applies to everything that we do with GenAI. So everything that our clients do program in the platform and use Quinn for is not used for any other clients, and so also we don't use it for training the model, but the model is actually trained on really, like, say, curated expert data sets from our own studies and research knowledge really embedded into the code, or we always said codified expertise into Quinn. But obviously it's guaranteed that there's no spillover from whatever you put into your study, that any other client or any other user might benefit from it.
Sure. Sort of along those lines too, they're asking about any of the standard templates or questionnaire design analysis, approaches that are sort of baked into how Quinn would produce things.
Parts of this is or it's part of the training data or the evaluation data. But Quinn doesn't just, let's say, wait for a keyword to appear and then gives you a predefined survey. But it's like, as B showed, it's always a collaborative, iterative process. So it's basically it takes the whole platform information and then provides a survey or questionnaire structure, which is not just an off-the-shelf templates. We do have these templates if you want to make it even easier, but it's more designed to your actual need instead of just taking a standard template.
Sure. Question here too, just about asking about I suppose the level of research capability you need to use Quinn. They're saying, does Quinn teach you about the details of each research method and why you might use it? Or do you just bring that knowledge into yourself as a trained researcher? What are some thoughts on that?
Okay, I had three different answers in mind, and I didn't know what to say. So Quinn is like equipped with all the knowledge about the different methods to use, and in this iterative process, you can of course also ask more clarifying questions. It also directs you with links to more information, say in our support center or in our Quantilope Academy, if you want to dive deeper. It's just like Quinn can do a lot, but obviously, like, using it as a full learning experience is probably like using all this in a chat interface. Not sure if that's the best user experience, but Quinn, of course, if you have questions, Quinn will answer them, and it will also guide you step by step. If you don't have any expertise or knowledge or previous knowledge for a specific method, but if you want to dive deeper, Quinn would direct you to our own information, how to actually apply it.
Question here too, asking if Quinn can code open-end data.
Yeah, it can. As B showed, Quinn can pull themes from overall open-ends, so it's more like an explorative tool. If you want to have Quinn, let's say, the traditional coding, and here's my code list, and please do it. This is not what Quinn would do, but Quinn is basically more there for finding overall themes, or also adding themes and diving deeper into all your open ends and making actionable business sense out of it. So it's more like, I wouldn't say that's classical coding, but it gives you deep dives into specific topics and themes that emerge from the data.
Sure. Question here too about the sample, where the sample comes from for the surveys that are done or the research that's being done, and are synthetic personas being used in that kind of situation? Or are you able to add screening questions to your survey, so you make sure you get the right audience?
So yeah, of course, you can add screening questions, you can target them. The data comes from different panels, humans, I must say. So at this point in time, we we're not convinced yet of the quality of using synthetic panels for quantitative surveys. When it comes to synthetic data or synthetic personas that were asked for, yes, they are also part of our offering that we'll launch soon. But it's more. But these are designed more for explorative early stage research. But the answers to the actual quantitative and surveys and the advanced research are coming from human panels, which is not our own panel, but we're working with all the established panel providers out there to serve exactly this needs of having whatever target group is out there. And of course, you can specify it as you like in your survey.
Sure. And just to, I think you might have touched on this in the introduction, just talking about the company generally too, but they're asking what the target group is for the use of a tool like Quinn. Is there are industries or researcher groups who are using it more than others?
I think that one is perfect for you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, honestly, everyone who's doing, I mean, it sounds a little cliche, but anyone who is doing this kind of consumer insights work and research is going to benefit from Quinn. And we've seen that across our client base as well, right? So you've got some very, deep in the weeds users who are using Quinn every day to ask questions, to sort of think about the analysis, to think about their surveys. You've got more higher level folks who are actually using Quinn. Maybe they've gotten a question back about a research project and they want to dig in a little bit deeper. And then, of course, even here on the quantilope side, we are all using Quinn. And we have also found that it's saving us an enormous amount of time across every single part of the research process that you would typically go through. So this isn't just specific to, the CPG industry or this can truly be applied across verticals and across personas as well.
Sure. This one you probably don't want to give away trade secrets, but they're kind of asking about how you see Quinn growing over the next couple of years, or maybe what capabilities you might be excited to add eventually.
I could talk hours about this one. So it's, as I said, we now launched what we call the new Quinn, or the big anniversary update, where Quinn really turned into a more autonomous agent. And that's something that we definitely build upon to what we always look for is like, where do actually our users spend most of the time? And these are the tasks that we want to automate further and to provide more and more assistance throughout the app. And when it comes then to further build with or develop Quinn more over the years to come, it's also, or not even years, maybe months, that's more the time horizon that we're talking about, is also to extend Quinn, for example, across projects. So right now we saw how it works in executing one research process end to end, but of course there's plenty of insights often already available out there from past studies, or I want to synthesize information across different projects. And this is also to be launched very soon in the next, so stay tuned in the next couple of weeks, a month, so that you can also use Quinn to dive deeper into what you've already done.
Question here too, asking about if Quinn has the capability to create market segmentations.
When it comes to creating segmentation, so we have actually a segmentation method in our platform that Quinn also assists with and also interprets the results. You can run a full segmentation with Quinn. When it comes to market segmentation in terms of, let's say, more desk research or third-party data, this is what Quinn currently cannot do yet, but it assists end-to-end with running a full segmentation study, which we all know can be also quite cumbersome and expert task to also interpret all the different segments and make sense out of them and what to do with them and how to target them. And this is actually what Quinn actually also helps with.
Kind of a philosophical question here. They're asking about when you're using or implementing AI tools, kind of how do you balance automation and flexibility? Those two things. Where do you draw the line?
It's always a fun discussion that we're having in our team, because it's not like there's a clear principle and it always makes it easy to draw the line. And this also, or when we said at the beginning that we also want to share some learnings that we made through the past 2 years, this is one of the learnings that actually we made, that we learned pretty strongly that Quinn and AI generally works best as collaborator, not as full automation. And so when we started with Quinn, we kind of had this initial idea in our head that you somehow click on a button and then the magic appears and you get your dashboard ready and you don't have to do anything. But what we learned very quickly is kind of, okay, the moment you have to make assumptions about what users want, likelihood that these are the right assumptions is actually pretty low. So this is why we develop Quinn more and more into this iterative collaborative agent or collaborative assistant where the user specifies what they want. And as B also showed in the demo, if it's not crystal clear what you want, Quinn will ask for it. So this is, in the end, this, let's say, human in control approach is not just a crucial principle when it comes to responsible AI development, but also we've figured out very quickly that it's also actually the main requirement for making Quinn work properly, because guesswork, or it cannot read your mind, and we're all very happy about this.
Right. Sort of following along from that, there's a question here just asking about if any clients expressed concerns about analysis and recommendations that are generated by AI versus more hands-on, like, old school analysis. I mean, have they talked about having to present information to their internal stakeholders and any pushback because it's made by AI or something like that?
When it comes to the actual recommendations being generated by AI, we're not seeing big concerns. As I said, I think it's important, again, to draw the line between analysis being done by AI and recommendations being done by AI built on top of the analysis. When it comes to analysis being done by AI, there would be pretty big concerns, and we share these concerns. This is why we don't do this. When it comes to the recommendations, obviously Quinn always makes a suggestion. It doesn't mean that you have to take it as is. And actually, to be honest, in pretty few cases, our clients just use the recommendations or the suggestions done by Quinn and just send it out to their stakeholders, because obviously all the business context needed, strategic context needed, personal style, communication style within the company, all these things, of course, usually need to be edited by users. And as said, our users remain in full control. And if you don't like what Quinn did or Quinn suggested, just don't use it. But as everyone who works with ChatGPT, whatever, it's so helpful to just have something to work upon and not having this blank sheet of paper where you have to start with. And or as a colleague of mine always phrases it, even if it's something to hate, then you don't know what to, even if it's a suggestion you don't like, it's already helpful, because then you can build upon and know what you don't want. So it's, we don't see these concerns, actually. It's just that our clients always say it makes it more helpful, or what I said at the beginning, even more creative sometimes, because Quinn might come up with recommendations that weren't on your mind initially.
Right. Well, I think we've gotten to everybody's questions here. I really appreciate all the great input. It makes it so much more fun if there's great input coming in from the audience. But that means it was a good topic we were talking about. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to Jannik and B and to quantilope, and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.